reaction, first of all, I guess. I mean, it's been sort of widely trailed that Labour might be edging away from this number. Do you think it's helpful, unhelpful?
I think if it's about Labour simply nailing down every possible attack line from the Conservatives in the run-up to a general election, given that in previous elections they've been hammered over tax bombshell claims and so on, then, I can understand that. They are nervous about the next general election. But it does raise some very big questions. What policies are they actually going to pursue? Is there still going to be a state-owned energy company? Is there still going to be an insulation programme for houses? Is there still going to be a sovereign wealth fund to decarbonise British industry? And ultimately, there's a big question for Labour. If it gets into power, what is the role of the state? We're seeing industrial policy back on the agenda in a very big way in the United States, in the European Union, in China. What is the role of the state in the UK in trying to promote the transition and also provide a kind of roadmap, certainty for investors that this is the way the UK will go and actually try and get the investment in the UK?
And David, this is always badged as green, right? Because they're new technologies and it's a simple catch-all for all of it. But a lot of it is stuff that we are pledging to try and lead the world in, that we want to have job creation in, certainly areas that you know very well, things like gigafactories for electric car batteries. That kind of uncertainty, I guess, is not what the really big players who are trying to innovate, and this involves a lot of capital, want to hear from what could be the next government.
No, I think that's right. And I think that the danger with them dropping the policy is that we've already seen too much flip-flopping from the current government about targets. The 2030 target being put back, for example, that has not helped electric vehicle take-up. So if you want this sort of transition, you've got to set out a very clear direction of travel for investors to underpin confidence, help them make the investment decisions and bring that investment to the UK. And there is an opportunity here. There's opportunity over electric vehicles, gigafactories, as you mentioned, but also things like offshore wind, modular nuclear, hydrogen technologies and so on. There are things that the UK could capitalise on. Now, if the Labour Party is backtracking on the support for that, that does raise a question for investors in the UK about how attractive the UK will be in the future.
Yeah, and raises questions about when we hear numbers about the economic benefit that some of those projects could have if it looks like you're not ambitious enough to go for them. It makes you question how real the best thing since sliced bread might be, I guess.
I think that's right. I mean, I think there was a great report from the UK Changing Europe sort of think tank last week on the state of the UK economy, pointing out, the sort of strengths, weaknesses of the economy, that we've had a period of pretty poor economic growth, and what could we do to try and improve growth in the future. And part of that was about having an industrial policy in the UK. The UK does not have an industrial strategy. We've been sitting on the sidelines watching action unfold elsewhere. There is a very real danger, I think, that we can miss this opportunity to get investment, not only in terms of speeding up the transition to net zero, but also the other big transformation that we face in terms of Industry 4.0, automation. Both of those are going to destroy lots of jobs and create them. And there's a fundamental question about what Labour thinks its role will be as the state in trying to bring